I went to a coffee shop, and we already know how I feel about coffee shops. If you don't know, I don't know if they're really about coffee, which I don't think they're designed to be that way. It felt very soulless. Start with the main goal of enjoying the coffee and experience. Go for the coffee. Good tasting coffee isn't the goal. It's about the people. There's more people in coffee shops than coffee. We live right now. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Let's get right into it, right? It's been a while since I've actually used this mic. As you probably can tell, I love a lot of stuff, and as I was doing all this stuff, trying to understand audio and podcasting and all that stuff, I went down the rabbit hole of mics. And I don't use this mic that much because it gets a little tinny from my voice, but it doesn't matter. I think that kind of plays into the topic that we're going to be talking about today. And I actually wrote some notes down. So we'll see how the notes do for us. But as we go through this journey in coffee, we go through different rabbit holes. We can talk about the gear. We talk about the coffee. We talk about our experience. Sometimes we talk about how it affects our lives, right? And this past week, I actually tried to push myself. As you can see, I am more so like a loner, if that comes off to you at all. But I tend to do a lot of things on my own. I'm a classic introvert. I like to have my own hobbies. I like to explore. I can do a lot of things by myself. And in this case, this particular day, I went to a coffee shop. And we already know how I feel about coffee shops. If you don't know, I don't know if they're really about coffee, which I don't think they're designed to be that way. But I went to a popular, quotes, coffee shop. Again, I'm not going to say the name. It doesn't really matter. But I was looking to explore. I was going to get a couple of drinks actually, but I just ended up on two. I ended up on my classic drip coffee and also my macchiato. I go there for different reasons. I go there to assess the coffee quality. I go there to see if what I'm doing makes sense because I'm a roaster. I can roast my coffee. I roast my coffee. I can roast it whichever way I need to, for myself and for the clients that I talk to or interact with. And also for my YouTube videos as you see, accustomed to seeing if you are doing that right now or whatever. But I sat there. Here's the experience. I got there. Since you are hopefully enjoying the video, if you like, subscribe. After I got there, I went ahead and got out the car, went to the counter, looked at the menus, talked to the barista or the server at hand. And when I did that, it felt very soulless. They're very nice to me, as they were to everybody else, as many coffee shops are, is that they're very inviting to an extent. They ask you if you want cream or milk and sugar on it so they can leave some room for it. But for the most part, it was very clinical. I did get eye contact. I did feel like a warmth of human interaction, but that's about it. And truthfully, you can't really blame a barista or somebody like that to give you more than what they're supposed to give you or something that you would expect. So I wouldn't say my experience at this particular coffee shop was that much more different compared to any of the other ones that I've gone to lately or in general. But I left there and I really wanted to talk about this whole experience. And then I thought about it. It's like, really, what is the true point of a coffee shop? What are you really trying to get out of it? So I want to turn this around a little bit. And the way I title this, let me get my notes, bullet points, so to speak, is that how to enjoy a coffee shop experience as a noob, introvert, or just curious coffee drinker. Because I think that kind of covers everybody. But for the most part, I think it's like going to the gym, for instance. I am a big workout person, past 4 or 5 years. And before the pandemic, I did go to the gym quite a bit. And because I have a home gym, so I can just go downstairs and just work out and be done, which I prefer because I'm a introvert, loner, and all that stuff. Again, that's kind of more so unique to me, even though at times when we put these labels on ourselves, we kind of go ahead and classify everybody as being the exact same. But I'm sure there's degree of layering of like differences between those particular classifications, as you know too. So when you go to a gym, you are very intimidated. You're wondering if people are looking at you. You're wondering if you're doing the stuff right. You're wondering if you'll get the benefits as what people would say that you would get the benefits, right? So in this case, it's kind of more so the same thing. I truly, really believe that when you're going into an establishment amongst people, you're interacting with people, not all the time, but they're there. It's kind of like going to work, but after a couple of weeks, you'll get used to it. Same thing with the coffee shop. And I think that's the part that I really want to talk about here in regards to how do you really enjoy the coffee cafe experience. So let's talk about the first bullet. Start with the main goal of enjoying the coffee and experience. Go for the coffee. So go for the coffee. What I mean by that is that you're going to see if you can taste something spectacular, something magical, something more than what you're actually getting or doing at home. At the end of the day, a coffee shop can be very intimidating. But if you have a goal of actually seeing what coffee can taste like from somebody who does that more times than you, then that's a good way to go about enjoying the experience of a coffee shop. I know when I did go to the coffee shops from time to time, I was only really interested in the quality, the care, and the differences of coffee. You know, I'm a coffee slut. So I still have that in me to the point to where I want to try as many different coffees as I can. And it's cool to not be the one preparing everything, not being the one sourcing and analyzing the beans. Somebody else has done that. So kind of getting a better idea of what somebody else does. Because naturally we're going to compare. We're going to see if it's better than ours or whatnot. But in your case, I believe it is very important that you just take everything in. Meaning that they may do certain things in a way to where it makes sense for them. It may not to you, but taste the coffee, enjoy the coffee, jot down things that you do like about it, that you don't like about it. Probably go beyond just the drip coffee. Probably spend a little bit more money on the different pour overs that they have. Sometimes when they do have those pour overs, they highlight different coffees for whatever different reasons. Watch their technique, see how they actually brew the coffee. Ask questions. Those are some of the things that you can get out of the experience out of a coffee shop. So go with that intention first, okay? So let's go on to the second question or second point. Only select a couple of local shops for whatever your reasoning. So if you tend to like to go to coffee shops either in the morning time before work, or as part of your morning routine, or you like to go during the midday, mid-morning, or lunchtime, only go to a couple of them. The reason why I say that is because you're trying to develop a routine and habit, meaning that you're not really going to get to know, which I believe is the next step is going to be more important than any other step, is the people. If you keep bouncing around to different coffee shops, then they may be as different as possible. But at the end of the day, nobody will get to know who you are. See, that's the thing that I have to realize, that the way I go about going to coffee shops is that I just go to one. I probably have a friend with me and we're just talking and I just leave. But if I was really trying to get an experience, I would have to be more so like a regular at that coffee shop. For instance, here's a easy, quick example. When I used to work in downtown Houston, I did go to this coffee shop from time to time. And when I went there, I introduced myself, blah, 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 and I got my cup of coffee. And I don't know if it's just me, just being a black guy, it's easier to remember me, but I went back a couple times here and there, right? So as I went back there a couple times, this particular barista started to notice me. So then we just start talking about the coffee. He introduced a couple things to me and all that stuff. Then it got to the point to where he would tell me what they were roasting. He would give me a little sample bag of something that they were like trying to play around with or whatever, or experiment with. It was an experience to the point to where I felt that was my spot. I felt like a part of the organization. And you don't really get that if you're like constantly like moving to this place, to that place, to this place, to this place. And at times, people are creatures of habits. So when you're in a coffee shop, the beauty or the thing about it is that people have their routines and habits. So a lot of times, Becky may go in there at 10:45 a.m., stay for an hour and leave. Okay? You may come in there at 11:02 and then stay for 30 minutes or whatever. But after a while, you start to see regulars. You start to see people who are there all the time for whatever various reasons. So what it is that you're building up that comfort zone as you do that. You can't really do that if you go to 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, coffee shop, hop or whatnot. You really can't really get into the feel of the things that you're trying to really do if that's part of the thing that you're trying to do. So think about that. Just pick a couple of spots. Probably pick one closer to your job for whatever reason, or pick one when you're closer to at home, something on the weekend, and then patronize that place. Go to that place and then explore that place. And then after a while, the regulars, the locals, and all that stuff, they will start to pick up on that. And then you may have an opportunity to strike up a conversation for whatever reason. Okay? So that's why I'm saying that you only need a couple spots to where you would need to actually go to. Because you're only one person. You have other things in your life. You make coffee at home. You're working, you're grooving, you're doing your thing. So you're stretching yourself too thin if you want to go to a lot of different places. I'm not saying don't go to like this new hip place that has this exotic coffee. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that realize that you can only make yourself present or known if people see you all the time. So, all right. As I guess I mentioned, that was number 3, be a regular. Okay. And that's extremely critical because you need to be a regular coffee shop person if that's truly really where you want to go. Because I think at times that's more so the things that we're trying to do when we are trying to expand our minds, expand our logic, expand the things that we like to do. And at times, I think even me being an introvert, we want to share our experience with people. We want to be there and enjoy things as much as we can and to let other people know that, hey, raise our hand. I like this too. You like this too. For whatever reason, we can talk about it and kind of just really get out there to the point to where we are exploring this journey with others in a different type of way. So be a regular. At times and after a while, you start to open up. You start to get out your shell. Because you're going there all the time. And as you do things in a routine, you get comfortable. And as you get comfortable, you start to be more of yourself. So you may say, "What's your name? John?" Okay, you're John. You're always here. Not in a stalkerist type of way, but you start to pick up on patterns and when people are there, when they're not. And then you can pick up on mannerisms. And then that's where you can really get to know who people really are. And you get to know who you are. Something that you may have thought about with a particular coffee, you can bring that up. You can just ask somebody about their day or whatnot. Again, it's about just trying to build this into your routine and normacy. So when you do that, it's going to be a lot of things that happen to you that you look forward to going to that place. You may even stay longer. You may buy more things and you may get more things done, whatever the case. So, all right, here's the last one. Good tasting coffee isn't the goal. It's about the people. I know I said the first one was go for the coffee, but that's how you start to really have a reason to go to a coffee shop. But in a long-term sense, the biggest thing that you can really do is develop those friendships, those interactions with actual people. Because as I said before, and I truly do believe it, coffee shops are not about coffee. It's about the people. As you were talking, we were just interacting right now, you probably can make a better cup of coffee than that barista, Jason over there. You do that all the time. You know your technique. You probably have a TDS meter. You're probably on your Reddit forums or whatnot. Or you're probably not. You can probably make a better fucking cup of coffee than anybody in that joint. But it's not about that. It's about actually interacting and understanding how people groove and do their things and how you can grow into the whole experience. So I think that's going to be extremely critical as you go about understanding your way in the world and how it actually truly really matters in what you care about. Because at the end of the day, that's where people are. There's more people in coffee shops than coffee. So after a while, you're in an establishment to where it's people, and that's the whole point. I don't like using the word community because it's kind of a empty type of word, but you can create your own community. Write that down, jot that down, and I think that's going to be one of the critical parts about all of this is that what is your definition of community? What is the thing that you care about in your life when it comes to people? What does that look like? How does that look for you when you're actually in a coffee shop? Because at the end of the day, to me, yeah, I give a shit about the coffee. But I care more about people even though I'm an introvert. And it's about those interactions, those real interactions. And the thing that you have in common with somebody is coffee. And then as you stay there and get more in the routine of going to these shops and interacting with people, you'll start to realize that you have other things in common with people. And I think that's pretty cool. Other things that you may have not even thought about. Somebody may have opened you up to different things as you go about these coffee shop experience, you know. But whatever. That's my logic. That's my thinking. So let me know what you think about that. Those are my quick tips or insights of ways that you can actually go about enjoying a coffee shop. Because it's more than just a coffee. It's more about the people. And that will take time. So that's what I got for you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like the bullet point thinking from time to time. But I think it actually flowed pretty well. But whatever. This is Oki at Everyday Beans signing off. Talk to you later. Bye.